Hi guys. So today's Monday. I just want to pop on and kind of quickly talk about some mental health and how to deal with it if you have a friend or family member that's suffering. So I went to Pugwash this weekend and kind of a mental health came up and how somebody has a friend who is suffering and they don't know how to deal with it with their friend and what their friend's going through. And they're getting pretty frustrated and don't really want to go be around them anymore. Now, that's definitely not the way to go. I mean, if this is your friend, you don't just dump them like they're garbage because they're having a hard time and you don't know how to deal with it. So I've lost friends because of mine, because of my depression and my dark moods. My cruise didn't take. Okay. So because when I get into a mood, as I always put it, in my dark place, when I'm trying to get out of it, I will, I don't want to talk to anybody. I won't text anybody, call, I won't do any of that. Because I'm trying to survive the moment. I'm trying to get through it myself. I'm trying to get the dark thoughts to get out of my mind. And I can't do that if I'm talking to people. And my friends, some of my friends, couldn't understand that, couldn't understand why I wouldn't reach out to them. And they eventually just stopped coming around. And I put that on myself a lot. But really, if you think on it, that's more of a character flaw in that person, because you said you don't just dump somebody because they're going through a hard time. And I'm the first one to say mental health is hard to deal with, especially if you don't deal with it. Especially if you don't have any of these problems, it's really hard to understand. And so my suggestion or my advice on that is, if you do have a friend that's suffering and you're having a hard time to understand that, just be there for them. Whatever it is that they need, just say that you understand, even if you don't, but just say you understand if they need time alone, or maybe they need time to, maybe they just need somebody around. Maybe they need a friend to come around and just be with them. Not necessarily to talk about it. Some need to talk, some don't. Some just need that that connection with somebody, that, closeness to somebody. And maybe if you're having a hard time understanding it, once the person is okay and not in a dark space or whatever they are going through at the time, once they're in a better space, sit down and talk to them and just ask them if they could explain it somewhat, as best as they can, on what they need, what they would expect. Because I know I would gladly tell anybody what I need. I'm very vocal about stuff, and if somebody is having a hard time understanding it, I will fully explain it so that you know what is kind of not expected, but what that person can do, right? So that they don't take it on them, thinking that they've done something wrong or whatnot. But definitely don't just drop your friend if they're going through a hard time and you don't understand. It just, to me, that just doesn't make any sense why somebody would do that. Like I said, it just takes, if the person says they need space because they're not in a good headspace right now, then just give them space. Give them time to get over it. And they probably will. I know for mine that it comes in patchy. I'm not always in a dark space, but when I get in my dark space, it's really bad and it's really dark. And sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes a week before I can get out of it. But you just need to be be there and maybe just check in. Like, I know for me, a lot of times, that's all I need is for somebody to say, hey, how are you doing? Just thinking about you. Maybe we can get together for a coffee sometime. And that would really help me. So definitely don't ditch your friends if they're having a hard time. Try to be there as much as you can. And like I said, when they're in a better headspace, sit down and talk to them and just ask them to explain it to you a little bit to help you understand what it is that they need and what it is that they might go through in their time or whatever they're dealing with. So that's all I really wanted to come on here and say. Don't ditch your friends because they're having a hard time. You know, that definitely isn't going to help anything. So it's just going to make them worse. And if you're really, truly a friend, you're not going to let something like that come in between. You know what I mean? So just kind of keep that in mind. Just be there for them when they're ready to come see you. And like I said, reach out, just text, let them know you're thinking about them, and then maybe invite them out for coffee when they're ready, because they might not be ready in that moment, but eventually they will be. So, and that will go a long way. So just keep that in mind if you know anybody that's suffering from a mental illness, whatever that may be. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.